And the New York Times bashes we the people. That's our focus in tonight's preamble. By and large, the folks who work at the New York Times, like the party they represent, detest and loathe common Americans. That contempt was demonstrated in a series of articles over the weekend. One read, "How Tucker Carlson reshaped Fox News and became Trump's heir." Another one said, as if they had the slightest clue, what to know about Tucker Carlson's rise. And finally, how Tucker Carlson stoked white fear to conquer cable. Now, I'm not going to turn this segment into a defense of Tucker Carlson. First, Tucker's a big boy. He can take care of himself. But I do want to examine the motivations, conclusions, and dangers posed by the New York Times as it pertains to you, the citizens of our blessed land. The name of the series is American Nationalist. That term just drips with all the contempt and venom the leftists of the New York Times can muster. However, most Americans, like your liberty-loving Latino here, we see nothing wrong with Americans being pro-American. In other words, being American nationalists. Only committed leftists in the biased press and media look at America as the enemy. The author of this series, who will get no notoriety here, through what he calls investigation, details how Tucker seized on something the alleged reporter calls white fear, and they often use left-wing trope white nationalism. The series begins with some of Tucker's comments that are offensive to butthurt liberals at the New York Times. As an aside here, liberals often feign offense in an effort to shut conservatives up because leftists have lost the ability to debate rationally with any semblance of an educated voice. The left-wing author of the hit piece cites the Fox News host's remarks about illegal aliens, Black Lives Matter riots, and the alleged refugees. The Times also has a big problem with facts about what was going on January 6th, where hundreds of folks criminally trespassed and vandalized the Capitol, while over 100,000 folks peacefully demonstrated to have their grievances heard by their tone-deaf government. There are several reasons why left-wing extremists target conservatives for character assassination. They do this to lash out as a mechanism to work out their anger issues. See the aforementioned Black Lives Matter and Antifa riots. But collectivists also try and tar and discredit those who are effective at speaking out against their socialist big government lunacy. Let's just drill down to all of the criticisms leveled by the New York Times, and by doing so, we will see who the New York Times defends and who they hate. First, the Times defends illegal aliens breaking into the United States in record numbers. If you oppose illegal immigration, the New York Times hates you and calls you a white nationalist. Next, the New York Times defends the violence dished out by Black Lives Matter and Antifa. Now, keep in mind that innocent Americans died in the BLM and Antifa violence, not to mention gays and minorities being beaten to a pulp as well. Conservatives oppose that kind of thing, you know, and that earns us what the New York Times considers a pejorative name, American nationalist. Most Americans want what's best for the United States. The New York Times, well, simply doesn't. The paper and the people who work for it have a long history of pulling for America's enemies and enemies of freedom. Just ask the Jewish community, they'll tell you. Most Americans support the rule of law and oppose illegal immigration. The New York Times supports illegal activity and is comfortable with labeling all Americans, law-abiding Americans, as white nationalists in an effort to get those Americans to shut up about the whole law and order thing. Not to put too fine a point on this, but the left-wing socialist agenda of the Democrats is being rejected by an overwhelming number of Americans. Most Americans know and understand that the far-left agenda championed by Joe Biden and the New York Times will result in harm to our families and the destruction of liberty, prosperity, and security. The reason why we know this is because conservative voices are breaking out of the biased press bubble that has devolved into nothing but a left-wing echo chamber. So the insecure infants of the New York Times and elsewhere are stomping their feet and crying racism again. So to all of you, my beloved audience, and to the sickos who populate the New York Times, I say this: my skin is brown, and I oppose illegal immigration. My skin is brown, and I oppose the violence and corruption of BLM and Antifa. My skin is brown, And I'm an American nationalist because, unlike the New York Times, I love my country, the United States of America. I'm brown, and I know the New York Times hates me and any other American who rejects their backward worldview. And to be honest, I don't think much of the New York Times either, because I know that the New York Times is an enemy of facts and of we the people.